Hey, what's up, everyone? Just getting set up right now with office hours, and I think you should be able to see the YouTube chat. There we go. Welcome to office hours. This is just the time I set aside every week at the same time, twice a week, to take any questions that you guys have and just make myself available for you guys. I can give you advice on anything that's on your mind. I'm also happy to just chat about whatever. Since no one's here, I'll just be pasting this into our chat thing here. And I'll wait for people to join the stream. Okay. Looks like we're good on this. Oops. There we go. So, while I'm waiting, quick update on what I've been reading slash watching. I think I mentioned last week that I finished reading Lolita, and now I'm reading Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I'm mainly reading this because I want to get into James by Percival Everett, which came out last year and was pretty well regarded. I also really like Percival Everett, so doing a bit of that right now. Besides that, I've mostly just been watching movies. I've been watching. Hang on. Oh, I watched The Lighthouse, which was amazing, from 2019 with Patterson and Willem Dafoe, and that was such an insane movie. Besides The Lighthouse, I watched a couple other things, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now because The Lighthouse was pretty overwhelming. Oh, A Real Pain from last year, which was Jesse Eisenberg one with Kieran Culkin. I always say McCulkin because of Macaulay. Anyway, Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg. Also, a bit of a character. About actually, what the heck is going on? I Lolita and Huckleberry Finn and The Lighthouse and A Real Pain. All four of these are just two characters, just kind of either traveling or, in the case of The Lighthouse, really not traveling. so, anyway, I watched The Lighthouse. I watched A Real Pain. Both of those were very good for different reasons. I would say The Lighthouse was very good, and A Real Pain was just a good, subtle internal drama, and makes you feel feelings. Really good movie as well. I'm trying to find. I feel like I watched at least a couple other things, but I can't remember right now. So yeah, I mean, can't remember anything else that I watched at the moment. So moving on. Uh, I've been writing some tutoring related posts up on Reddit, but honestly, I don't really have the time for tutoring, so I don't even know why I'm doing that. It's just that when people ask questions, I try to answer questions, and then I end up cross posting it to my account. Let's go into Wordle. Again, if you're here, you don't have to wait until I'm done talking. You can just ask questions whenever you have them, and then I'll get to you when I have the time, when I have a moment to breathe. After this, I'm just gonna play some word games while kind of killing time and waiting for chat to come in. And after the word games, I'll probably go into Discord and catch up on chats that I haven't responded to in the last couple of days because it was my weekend. I just realized something. I realized that I'm using a VPN, which might be harming my stream quality. Guys, I'm gonna briefly shut off my VPN. Uh, which might make a temporary disconnect. okay with my cause. All right. You can just stay on stream, but it might just look laggy on your side. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. All right, that's fine. Snare. What's up, guys? If you're in chat, just say hi. Let me know you're here. Mushi, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I'm just a little bit locked in right now, so I'll be right there, okay? My brain apparently is not very good today. I have bad brain. Gollum. I mean, G and L and M are good letters, but there would be very few words with an E at the second to last position, right? All right, just do it. Oh, see, that was ass. All right, well, annoying, but back to chat. Best tips for questions like this. Do I just want to look at independent versus dependent? Okay, yeah, obviously when it's a boundaries question, so when the four answer choices are looking at the like the punctuation between clauses or modifiers, then yeah, you should be primarily looking for independent clauses. But especially when you see, like, right now there's no line breaks because I think YouTube chat does not respect the line breaks. But if you're looking at, it's hard for me to read, but it looks like A versus. Oh, in this one, there isn't two different independent clauses. Got it. Okay, so maybe A versus D, I guess, but in this one's gonna be a trickier one. Okay, from what I can tell, unless it's an easy one. It could be a really easy one, or it could be a very hard one. Depends on how the sentence is written. But for that, I would say. Yes, the default is just start with independent clauses. Always start with independent clauses, okay? And it shouldn't even really be question dependent. You should just always look for independent clauses all the time. Secondarily, when you see these logical adverbs, right? Like the however. In this case, the though is functioning as a however. So, however, right? Like if I say something like yo, you're looking fresh, period. However, you stink. Okay? You, however, stink. You stink, however. You know, you can move that however around in different parts of the sentence and it still means the same thing. So when you see an adverb like however, or in this case though, just know what that means, okay? And then this becomes a little bit more complicated because of that logical adverb. Now you have to double check the logic between the sentences, because if I say something like, hey, you're looking fresh, you stink, here, put on this perfume. Here, put on this cologne. Okay. Hey, looking fresh. You stink. put on this cologne. Like, where should the however be? Where should the however be? Should it be on the second sentence or on the third sentence, right? Hey, you're looking fresh. You stink. You should put on some cologne. Well, I think it's pretty obvious you should put the however on the second sentence. Hey, you're looking fresh. However you stink. You should put on some cologne. But then what happens if you move to the however to the end of the first sentence? Now it awkwardly looks like, if without any punctuation marks, it actually sounds like it could be at the beginning of the third sentence. So if I say, hey, you're looking fresh, you stink, however, you should put on some cologne, versus, hey, you're looking fresh, you stink, however, you should put on some cologne, right? There is a punctuation mark difference there. You need to figure out where that location is. Is it supposed to be on the second sentence or a third sentence? And that's where you distinguish between that, the very common question type where the semicolon is on either the left or the right side of that though. So this one is a kind of complicated question just because it's not just independent clauses that's making you confused. You have to be able to convert the though back to a however. You need to be able to be comfortable to just move the however around and figure out logically where it's supposed to stand. And then finally do that punctuation at the very end. So it's multiple steps for this particular type. And for me, I can't really tell you whether the right answer is A, B, C, or D without seeing the answer choice, because this could be an even more unusual question than the three-sentence example I just gave you with, looking fresh and stinking, right? But those are the factors that get put into play. And the closer you are to 800, the more juggling you have to do, okay? If you're just trying to get a 650, it's okay to focus on one rule at a time. That's okay. But once you're trying to get an 800, you're gonna have to square up with some questions that demand that you juggle multiple rules at the same time simultaneously, while also not wasting too much time on that question. Much more complicated. So the answer to your question, my best tip for this kind of question, yes, for people who are kind of just getting started in the SAT, I would just say look at independent clauses first. Okay. But my best tip for a 650 target student versus like a 750 or 800 target student is just different. For a 750 or 800 student, I'd be like, dude, just read, bro. Like, actually understand the logic between the sentences, because at that point you should be done with the independent clauses and dependent clauses should be second nature. You shouldn't even be thinking about it at that point. So it depends on your level. Synthetic, good to see you. Did I miss you? I missed you, bro. How are you doing, man? So you guys aren't really asking other questions, so I'm just going to keep chatting. I'm just going to keep randomly playing word games until we move on. Techie would be a very weird word to be here, but you know what? T-E-C-H, those are all very common letters, so let's get those out of the way. Okay. Betsy. Nope. Dude, do I have to go with double T? I don't want to go with double T. Okay, let's try PewDiePie. No. Petey, Dee Petey. Guys, just gonna. Kanye is messing up my brain. Okay. Geeky. We don't have geeky. Peaky. Wiki. Okay. Okay, so it could be a double T. It could be a double E, which is annoying. Um, but then what about lefty? Beft, veft, fef, defty? Okay, we could have a FT, which is kind of annoying, but okay. But I can't think about FTY. Lefty, tefty, wefty, defty, kefty, befty, nepty, zefty. Okay. Dude, do I have to do... Oh. I have to do double T, I think. Oh, deity. Yeah, I want to try that. Oh, dude, I got it. Oh, nice. All right. Deity, deity, deity. Looks like no one has any questions. Guys, don't be shy. You can just chat with me. I'm just going to keep killing time. I'm going to be on stream for about 10 more minutes before I move over to the members only stream. So, and the coffee is finally kicking in, so I'm starting to talk faster. so, which is probably good for you, I guess. Let me just share this to Wordle, and then Niraj, I'll get back to you in a second. Cool. All right. And let's go chat. Any tips? Hard passages. Difficult to understand. Not very intuitive. Niraj, can you tell me about what passages you struggle on? Because it kind of depends on whether it's more... if you tend to be... So there's generally two large profiles of students. There's kids who struggle on kind of... just like science-y passages, and then there's kids who struggle on more literary passages. Are like the two very broad profiles. Now, if you have a more, so if you can kind of at least give me a sense of direction, because that would help me, and that would help me help you, because it really depends. Like there are, like reading is a skill that isn't taught in SAT books, right? I'm happy to teach reading, but SAT books don't specifically teach reading. They teach you actually not to read. They teach you to look at answer choices A and B and C and D, and then do like little stupid comparison games, and then try to choose the statistically most likely answer, which is like a completely misguided approach if you're trying to get 800. So I need to at least know whether you're struggling more on literary passages or more on like science passages, and then if you even have like an example, that would be very helpful for me. Mushi, back to you. Smart. Take caffeine before SAT. Mushi, the quick answer is that depends on whether you already take caffeine usually, okay? Because I would not encourage you to do something totally new. The best answer to that question comes from your own body. You have to like consume caffeine and listen to what your body is saying. And if your body, and maybe what you should do is if you think it might work, then next Saturday, oh, not next Saturday, some other morning this week, okay, it's a little late now, but some other morning this week at 8 a.m., take a full practice SAT, but beforehand, try the thing that you want to try. which is to drink coffee or whatever, right? And if it helps you on that day, then maybe you could replicate it on Saturday. But I would strongly, strongly advise you not to do something on Saturday, next week Saturday, that you have never done before in your life. Okay? Anything you do for the SAT next week, do not throw it totally off balance by experimenting with it and doing something totally new. Does that make sense? And back to Niraj, both. Well, that's okay. But if it's both, guess that now your target score is below 700, and maybe you're aiming more towards like 650. And as a general, so the most general, and at that point I can start making general. I can start giving general tips. If you're kind of aiming for like a 650 to 700, like if you're like anywhere between, hang on, let me think about this. If you're anywhere between 500 and 600 and you're trying to get above 650, then honestly, the first thing to do is just to learn the basic transition types in science passages and just get that out of the way. Okay, because science is a lot easier to kind of like segment into parts. So when I see a science passage, when I see like a kind of a low or medium level science passage, what kind of parts of a science passage would I expect, right? I would expect something like a research hypothesis or a research topic, okay, or a research problem. Hypothesis, topic, problem. These are all very similar, not exactly the same, but they're very similar, okay? And then after that, I would expect some sort of experiment method, okay? Like what we call methodology or experiment design or study design or whatever. Again, these are very similar. And then afterwards, I would expect a result or a set of results. It could be more than one result. And then I would expect some sort of significance, like the discussion part of like your science research reports, right? So what I would strongly urge, if you're just struggling just generally to read and you're just reading over and over all the time, I would strongly recommend starting with science passages just to get something that's kind of repeatable, right? Because science passages tend to follow a pretty straightforward pattern. And what I have my students do, at least in class, is I have them draw triangles for transitions, and you can see that sometimes when I do streams on my paper SAT where I could annotate. I can't really annotate on the digital SAT Blue Book, but if you go back to my really old streams with the paper SAT, you can see me draw triangles for transitions. And I would have you do the same thing, just draw triangles every time you see a transition. It could be, there's no right answer for how many transitions there are for a given passage. There can be anywhere, like somebody could be seeing one transition, somebody could be seeing 5 transitions. Honestly, you kind of need a teacher to assess the reasoning behind why they're choosing 1 or 5. But basically, like, even though there's no right answer, the exercise of trying to identify the transitions will help you at least give like a purpose to your reading, right? That you're not just reading a sentence just to memorize every single word in that sentence, which is not the purpose of reading, but a lot of kids do that. You're reading that sentence to figure out the relationship between this sentence and the next sentence, or the relationship between this sentence and the previous sentence. It's like, oh, I'm reading just background information, and oh, now this is the hypothesis. Oh, and now this is the results, and oh, this is now the significance, right? You need to be able to establish those relationships between the different parts of the passage, okay? Which is why you got to learn the basic transitions that are in a science passage. When I say learn transitions, some people think that this means I'm telling them to learn the word however versus nevertheless versus result. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to learn to identify the relationships between different parts of the passage depending on the genre of the passage. So yeah, that's me on for a student trying to get like trying to break past like 600 and stay above 600, right? So that's kind of the general advice. And then for literature, it's a little like after you're done with that with science, then maybe you're starting to hover around 620, 630, 640, and the science passages are getting, a little bit more manageable. Then for literature passages, I would strongly just recommend that you keep track of the characters, which a lot of kids are terrible at. They'll like, you guys will like, you guys will simply not track characters, and you'll mix up two characters as one character, and it's just a complete. It's like a shit show, like in your head, like you're not imagining the scene whatsoever. So you got to do that. And those are some of the really basic skills that you think it sounds so easy, like when I'm saying it, but like, are you actually doing it? Like you're probably not. Okay, because if you're not doing it, then you're dropping points, and you're definitely not going to be able to predict the answer, right? If you don't even know how to separate the characters, or if you don't know how to label the different parts of the passage, then when the question comes out and asks you for like a particular detail or whatever, you're just going to get lost. So. By the way, all of my advice is under the assumption that you are challenging yourself to predict the answer, okay? If you are not challenging yourself to predict the answer, that you're gonna just use those statistical games that everyone, the sort of numerical games that everyone's playing by doing process elimination between A and B and C and D. If you're using that kind of strategy, then you really should not be listening to my advice. All right, so that's my general guideline for people kind of trying to improve their reading itself. I'm glad to have a question about the reading process itself. Let's go back to word games because no one's asking any other questions. Let's go. If you are here, though, just say hi in chat. I'll shout you out, and I'll also answer any questions that you have, which you can answer. You can ask even when I'm in the middle of talking. It's fine. Let's see. Do not disturb, vibrate, ring, and airplane mode. I guess these are the 4 things that are related to like phone modes. So I'm gonna go with that. Okay. Modes. I use the exact same word. This is definitely just a trick. Okay, because there's no 4th for this. So they're trying to lead us astray. Ham-fisted. Huh. A shoe, a ham. Wait. Dodgeball. Shake ball, heart ball, shoe ball, draw ball. Drawstring, hamstring, shoestring, heartstring. Drawstring, hamstring, shoestring, heartstring. That must be correct. I'm going to go with this one. All right. Oh, that's the purple. Okay, so I need to get the green and the blue now. Good tactic. Will I be streaming every day? Unfortunately, I won't be able to stream every day. I do have a pretty busy schedule with work this week. So I might do another stream the night before the SAT, but I don't think I can. I don't think. Realistically, I won't be able to fit in. I can't promise, at least. I might be able if I happen to finish work early one day or something, maybe. But more realistically, I probably need to think about whether I can schedule in a stream before the SAT, which I think. Thanks for asking me that question. I'll think about it, and then if I schedule a stream, you'll be able to see it on my YouTube page. Okay, that a stream has been scheduled. Niraj, link to triangles method? Oh, no, I never really taught it in a specific video, so you just have to watch like an old paper SAT stream of mine. Here. Give me actually here. I don't. It's not that complicated, so it might sound more complicated, but the main thing is that I don't. I'm not just looking for. Where is this? I'm not just looking for transition words. I'm looking for literally just a moment in the passage where it's talking about something different from what it was previously talking about. Okay, so where's my paper SAT? Paper SAT. Here we go. Such an ugly pic, dude. Anyway, yeah, there we go. That was exact. Oh, this is writing. Oh, this is writing. Oh, my bad. Writing. Reading. Here we go. Man, dang, the SAT used to be so much harder. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you can literally see me just do this right. I just did it right now. Here, let me slow the video down. However, collisional erosion cannot be the whole story. Okay, so funny. That one this one actually uses the word however. But look, this one just says if. That's not a transition, right? So I'm not looking at the words. That's the main thing. And this is actually helping me to answer Mushi's question as well. Mushi's question makes an assumption that a lot of other students make. They make this assumption that I'm looking at the words, but I'm not looking at the words. I'm looking at the ideas behind the words. And I'm trying to figure out, if this is the idea is that they're all breaking apart, then there's, hang on, where are we? And then there's a sort of consequence of that idea. Here's the consequence. This would mean that blah, 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 blah. Then we should have a projected effect for this idea. However, this cannot be the entire thing because there's some complication in this projection. There's a complication in this projection. But complication, projection, are these words that Erica Meltzer teaches you? No. Erica Meltzer doesn't teach you complication and projection because these aren't words that are ever taught in any textbook. These are just things for describing relationships between paragraphs, and paragraphs don't always follow like continuity or contrast or cause. Those aren't the only three types of transitions in the world. There's so many other types. There's concessions, at least. Learn concessions, right? And there's straight up chronology. Sometimes there's just before and then after, right? Right? But like learning to describe the relationship between paragraphs, or not even sometimes between paragraphs, sometimes even within a paragraph, right? That is a crucial part of reading. And the digital SAT is a little unusual because it doesn't have long passages, so it doesn't get that complicated. And if it is complicated, it's all complicated within like a 5-sentence structure, which makes it kind of artificially complicated. But you're looking for, like, I honestly, even in just these like 10 lines or so, I actually could have put a triangle here, and I see this. Hang on. I guess not. Yeah, I guess I probably wouldn't put triangles here because I mean, if I did, then it would be very small triangles because these are like really minor transitions compared to this one. But these are all projected effects of a particular assumption that's in the previous part of this passage. So there's like some sort of assumption or hypothesis or common knowledge that's in the previous part of this passage, and these are all the projected effects. However, and then we pivot into something that complicates this projection and kind of proves it false or proves it not sufficient, So these are, this does not. So basically, the answer is no. You're not supposed to look for these words. You're supposed to look for the ideas, like in this case, mantle material, and take this idea of mantle material and take the idea of mantle material up here, and then see what's the difference in the way we're talking about the mantle material, right? in the previous paragraph and this paragraph, or in the previous sentence and then this sentence, right? So these transition words, however, and nevertheless, and as a result, and consequently, these are crutches. Okay, these are like training wheels. You're like you're a fully grown adult. Why are you still riding a bike with training wheels? Stop hugging these little howevers and these neverthelesses and these similarlies and these by contrast. Stop hugging them. Let them go and actually do the analysis yourself and figure out what the relationship is between the sentences. All right, back to word game. Let me know though if you have follow-up questions. Meanwhile, I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna dodge you. I'm gonna escape you. I'm gonna shake you. The robbers lost the police. Okay, let's win what? Huh? Huh? This is blue? I can't even guess what this is. Kanye West? Okay, wait. Win what? Tungsten West. Swat. Tungsten. Yo, this is kind of trippy. I mean, I could just click and it'll tell me, but that's kind of trippy. I actually don't know what this is. Win, Watt, Tungsten, West. Tungsten, win, Watt, West. Win, Watt, West. Win, Watt, Tungsten, Tungsten. Okay, Tungsten. Tongue, Watt, Wes. Win. Okay, I'm just gonna click. I don't know what that is. Oh, wow! I would not have guessed that at all. Shouldn't that be the purple? My God, that's so much harder. Yeah, W for Watt, that makes sense. W for West, W for Win, yes, but W for Tungsten, I would not have gotten that, dude. Okay. Back to questions. I think we have a question. Oh no, we don't have a question. So back to mini crossword. Here we go. Oh wait, I'm totally over time. Oh my God, it's 9:13. All right, well, guys, that's it for open office hours. I'm going to move over to members only office hours. If you want to support me as a member of this channel, you can look into the details below, or you can just wait until this YouTube stream is transitioned to the next part. It's just how I extend my time for people who are supporting me. And if you, if you don't have the financial means to support me, it's fine. You can still catch me just active in my Discord server. I try to reply every weekday of mine, at least once a day. So the Discord server's there for you to chat with other people, and sometimes I'll swoop in and just help out with some questions that people have. Okay, so that's it for me. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for the engagement. And if this video was helpful for you, please hit that like button just to let people know. To let the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing a job. A job. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep on learning, keep on growing. Peace.